May 5th is Missing, Murdered, Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit People Day. This is an important day for awareness and recognition of the disproportionate amount of murder and missing person cases in Canada. As a class, we know much more about the importance of Missing, Murdered, Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit People Day than the average student. But how much does the average GCVI student know? I assumed very little. To test this theory out, I sought out numerous interviews with the student body. I asked about their general understanding, confidence in their knowledge, any data they knew, the importance of the crisis, and the consequences of remaining ignorant. Here's what I found.
I'm Drake. My name is Alex Chong.
My name is Steve Osterberg.
What do you know about the red dresses at GCVI?
I know that they're for murdered kids.
I don't know anything, okay?
Not that much.
Not enough, but I would say I'm pretty well versed at what's going on here.
Do you think your fellow students have a general understanding of what missing, murdered, Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people is and why it matters?
I feel like some of them might, but majority of the kids in this school might not.
I don't think many people know, but I do think it matters to know what happened in the past.
I don't feel like people know anything.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I would probably say above average for the general Canadian population. Better than I did, and I'd suggest that RISE has done a great job of raising our awareness of this. So I'd say GCVI is probably better aware and better versed in this stuff than most places I've been to in my lifetime. So,
what misconceptions have you seen?
none that I've seen or that's been expressed to me. Yeah, we don't see that sort of caustic, all lives matter phrasing that you saw in the States when BLM was out. Still is, but when BLM first came to the attention of the world. So maybe we're doing a better job of accepting this as a key part. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that comes from the government admitting a genocide.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the country follows. It's like, yeah, we should know about this. No, I'd say it's way better than my generation. And that's really neat to see that within the span of a generation and a half, it's gone from pretty much absolute ignorance to red dresses in the school.
Do you feel confident in your knowledge?
No.
Amongst teachers, I'm sure it's maybe a little bit more just because I know Miss Roche.
Well, I know very little knowledge, so.
The impact do you think it has when people, including teachers, aren't aware of the scale of the crisis?
Well, for me, it was life-changing. It literally was. I wouldn't say I was shameful of being white, but I was shameful of not knowing.
It just keeps happening, and we're not really doing anything to act on it.
Yeah, it shows even if they're very little of the population, a lot of things.
It was just so crazy that something it's not a few people, right? And it was I had never heard of this. Why is that, right? So it just really made me reevaluate kind of what I'm reading and how I'm reading it and stuff like that. So, but also it just, I do think that in the end, if that's all you could do is to be more aware of something, then you're still doing something.
Yeah.
So that was
I feel like teachers would definitely think it's a big problem.
what set me on that course to know more. Because when I was in school, we didn't even know residential schools existed.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of people did, obviously, but we didn't. So it's just wow. So that's been really cool to see your generation have such more knowledge of this stuff than mine did.
Yeah.
Me being so ignorant up until, like I said, half a decade ago. And I made I should probably pay attention. I guess around 2015, 2014 is when I started, so it's a decade. But still, yeah. Right.
Do you think more could be done about the issue? Because I feel like earlier you said...
right? I think... Well, I know that our curriculum doesn't specifically state for grade 10 students that this is stuff that they should be learning with or learning about, but I know that there are several of us in the history department who do it anyway.
Well, obviously we put red dresses in the hallway. It's been on announcements, so I think it's been pretty good. But
Do you think more can be done?
we had assemblies, but
And that's fine, right?
Yeah.
We're not breaking any rules by adding content. I'd say we're in the right direction. Obviously the issue, there's a lot more that can be done about it.
Lots more teaching of this matter. I know there's already one class, but I feel like it should be spread out more.
Obviously, right? That should be a royal inquiry as to what's going on, and we should have a lot more police and a lot more tribal police and a lot more money spent figuring this out, right?
Yeah.
And it's an attitudinal shift I can sit here in the confines of beautiful, lovely Guelph where we all get along and be like, it's fine. But then I think if I were to go in other places in Ontario, maybe the far north, their relationships will be different, right? So there's clearly lots to do, for sure.
How did you like educate yourself?
Well, I remember when the commission came out, and I remember reading an article and being shocked by the huge discrepancy between the number of murdered and missing as a ratio to the population versus like regular. And I remember I was teaching at a pretty swanky school. Well, swanky. I was at a public school with wealthy families, and I was like, if 5 of these girls were murdered, everything would shut down.
Yeah.
Right? Like everything. The society would collapse and we'd all like be patrolling the streets. And that there was thousands of them and nothing was being done. And I was quite shocked because it was such a stark contrast. Thinking about, well, you know, had the skin color or the demographic or the income level been different, this would be a national catastrophe of the highest order. Yeah, so it was pretty, like, big slap in the face of, oh, I should know more about this. So, yeah.
I think it's like 16% of all female homicides. They take out like 4.3%
The
of the
statistics are just crazy, right?
After my interviews, I sent 30 teachers an anonymous survey asking about their knowledge on missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit People Day. Only 10 responded. Here's what we learned. Teachers believe that students are knowledgeable about the injustices but don't know the broader story. Teachers claim that they are confident in their general knowledge about the issue but would need to learn more to discuss. Some teachers state that their teachings do not have opportunities to discuss, such as classes like music, science, math, etc. Some stated that they do not require extra support for teaching, whereas others state a need for Indigenous speakers. Some teachers mentioned difficulty in balancing this topic with the main curriculum as well. Some subjects do not have any opportunity or need to discuss missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit People Day. Teachers enjoyed the red dress visual as it invites discussion and education. When asked about their knowledge about the issue, 40% claimed that they had average knowledge, 20% claimed they had above average, and 40% claimed that they were below average. There is so much left to be done. A majority of teachers requested a need for more education surrounding Indigenous issues, culture, and history. People lack understanding about these things. Additionally, we need more Indigenous voices in schools. Only 17 out of 94 calls to action from the Truth and Reconciliation have been completed as of June 12, 2025. Clearly, the Canadian government does not care about this issue. We, the people, need to pick up the government slack and do our part. Much more needs to be done, but there exists a bright future for Indigenous peoples of Canada. Improvements to water, increased investment in the education of Indigenous children and families, investment in secondary and primary schools, supporting Indigenous people in post-secondary education, supporting Indigenous heritage programs, improvements to healthcare, increasing the accessibility of food to increase food security are some of the many things that need to be done to support and improve the living standards of Indigenous people. Although not visible, good change and policies are being created to benefit Indigenous peoples of Canada. It may take decades for positive change to become evident, but we must continue our efforts and keep hope.